This Is Our Youth is, in my opinion, such a fun show. I think that there is a lot of honesty and there is a lot of grit. Each one of these characters is going through one thing or another, and they're all trying to find a way to get through it, whether it's laughter or drugs or alcohol or anything else going on in their lives. And I think that we tend to kind of look over our own experiences as something that are less than. These people are young adults and they have a little bit of a sense of freedom. So what do they do with that freedom, and how does it kind of backlash in the end?
It's New York, it's the 80s, the early 80s. It's so real, it's so raw, it's gritty, but it's light, it's funny, it's messy, but it is us, it is our youth, and I think it's a great story.
So it's like Ferris Bueller's Day Off with drugs. Warren, who's pushed over the edge, you know, like every kid does, he steals $15,000 and then tries to have a big party.
It's about these three characters that all come together and are struggling with finding the boundary that is their youth and what makes them an adult. And with that comes these large crises.
As a stage manager, it is our job to write down all the blocking, do line notes so actors can pick up their lines, that we set the stage, we make sure everything is good in terms of the actors, but also the technical sides as well, and just merge those lines together in order to make a whole cohesive production.
So This Is Our Youth takes place in the 1980s, and it's a very specific setting. So this process started with a lot of research about the types of people, the location, and also the types of music that they listen to, since it's a very integral part of the show. While it's a realistic show, I'm working with the director to kind of abstract some of the moments of escapism in the show to really bring it to life.
Being a student director honestly has been really fun. I've definitely learned a lot from this process of like what it means to be on the other side of the table and to have creative freedom. Finally having an opportunity to tell a story the way that I want to tell it. And for a long time I've been on the stage rather than behind it. This is not just my story, it's also the actors as well, and the ASMs and the stage manager. And this is a collaborative process, and how can we make that story as successful as possible together.
It's been a very collaborative experience, which I appreciate and I love, and it's been so interesting seeing these characters develop over time in terms of them getting their lines down, figuring out the cues for the show.
My favorite part about rehearsals is just setting up our set. It's so fun, and we just get to like throw trash everywhere. It's great.
After watching This Is Our Youth, I really hope the audience would walk away feeling more aware and sensitive to the weight and baggage that we all carry with us, and also forgiveness for the weight that they carry themselves.
I want the audience to gain a level of awareness from themselves. I just think we can all see ourselves in these characters. The way that they cope with laughter is a lot of what we do as theater kids, and it's just kind of a slice of our own life. And being able to see that on stage and feel like we're kind of watching ourselves, I want people to leave being like, that's what I do.
I do think that there's a sense of relatability in all of these characters. It's a little extreme, but at the same time, to the core, it's very real.
You got to accept the consequences of what happens, but you don't have to accept those consequences alone.
Kenneth Lonergan wrote this story, I believe, to relate to all youth. I believe this story is relatable to the now.
Being in your youth is a time of learning and growing, and I feel like that's something we can all understand as individuals, no matter what point we are in life.
Even adults cope with their issues in different ways, just like young people do, so I think everyone can learn something like that from it.
There is a story, there is no ending. It's kind of left like real life, as in nothing is ever really finished. There's not like a book of a closing, it's just we have to keep going. And that's what I love about this story.